Evening, everyone. We're to call the Shelton City Council meeting to order for October 1st, 2009. Will we all rise for the pledge, please?
Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Donna, would you like to call roll, please?
Councilmember Dorsey.
Here.
Councilmember Inesco.
Here.
Councilmember Krantz.
Here.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilmember McDowell.
Present.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Any changes to the agenda this evening? Manager?
Mr. Mayor, we do have an item under the action agenda, item number 2, for the park property acquisition. We would request that council defer this item to a later date in order to bring it back with the adjacent property, the Mankey property, which is also under consideration, so that we can consider both properties for donation at the same time.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a motion to make that agenda change?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll scratch that. Councilmember Schmidt.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to allow for a presentation from the EDC, Economic Development Council Chair Joel Meyer, to make a presentation on behalf of the Economic Development Council of Mason County regarding our homelessness issue in the city of Shelton.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I will put that in after council reports. And we'll start with council reports. Councilmember Dorsey.
All right. Along with my regular staff meetings, I was asked to speak at a school board meeting the other night on behalf of my high school coach from back in the day, by the name of Terry Gregg. They're thinking about naming the court after him. Then we had a couple of ribbon cuttings for the Mountain View Elementary and then the high school after the next day on the 26th. Today I had a Mason Transit Authority Board meeting, and I'm looking forward to going to a ribbon cutting tomorrow, isn't it, up at the Shang? Yeah, sports bar. And Kathy and I, and maybe others, will be going down to Hoquiam to an event put on by the AWC. And I also believe there's a candidate forum coming up on the 10th that I'd like to attend. So that's about it for me.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Inesco.
Since our last meeting, outside of our briefings and meetings, I attended a ribbon cutting for Eurocos number 2 in Steamboat Island. On Thursday, the 19th, I attended the State of Community Chamber Luncheon. On the 25th, I had a Housing Behavioral Health Advisory Board meeting and a ribbon cutting for Mountain View School. And I also had a ribbon cutting for Mountain View School on Thursday, the 26th. I spent a great deal of time up around the Birch area above the library and meeting the neighbors up there. And I want to thank Chief Moody for all the visits I ran into him on, probably at least a dozen, and other council members along with that. And that was my week.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Krantz.
Well, I was gone for 1 week last, I guess, a couple of weeks ago on vacation. I've been attending staff briefings and talking to citizens about life in general, and that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Like the other council members, I attended the ribbon cutting for the new high school building and Mountain View Elementary. We had a budget committee meeting last Friday going over our enterprise accounts. Upcoming, I guess, pretty quiet 2 weeks right now. It might go to Hoquiam and some other issues, and have met with constituents throughout the 2 weeks. So, Deputy Mayor Peterson.
September 20th, I attended the Peninsula Regional Transportation Planning Organization meeting, and that group discussed some of the washed out projects affecting the Olympic Peninsula area and opportunities to partner on those. So I'll be sharing that information to the other council members as well. Had 3 constituent meetings, and I was not at the budget meeting last Friday as I was gone all of last week at a chamber conference. Have a few events coming up at the end of this month, and that's it for now.
you. Councilmember McDowell.
I attended also the Rockland ribbon cutting, went to the state of the community, Port County and City, met with Joe on financial update, had my Board of Health meeting, ribbon cutting at the grade school, ribbon cutting at the high school, briefing with Jeff, met with several constituents. I will be attending the ribbon cutting tomorrow at the Shang. I am going to be meeting with Allison Smith. She's from the Olympic College, and we are going to be talking about the professional technical programs that are coming into Shelton, possibly, and the impact that will make on the college. The 8th, I will be going to Hoquiam for the AWC Small City Function and candidate debate. And I have one thing to say. I think I need a nap. Anyway.
All right.
Sorry. Never mind.
Thank you,
All right.
Councilmember. Councilmember Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. Had the Budget Committee meeting last Friday. My thanks to staff and Jeff for getting us closer to a completed budget for this coming year. A lot of work to do in 2020 on our side to help us keep the things going in the right direction on that front, and appreciate the efforts there. Also, attending an EDC board meeting this Thursday and had some constituent meetings last week as well. That is all.
Thank you. All right. Joel, would you like to come forward and do your presentation?
Thank you. Thanks to council members for allowing us to be here today. Before you is a letter that was drafted by the Economic Development Council Board of Directors, and I'm here as the chair of the board and in that capacity. And I know that this is an issue that is very difficult to understand, difficult to delve into, and it will also be, of course, difficult to solve. The letter from the board recognizes that this is indeed a situation that has great social and economic costs. And we understand that all persons need to have dignity and help and respect as they try to work their way out of homelessness or as we try to help them. But all persons also deserve in this community to feel safe and secure in the community. We know this is something that requires a response as a team from as many stakeholders as possible. And I think there are some things that I will mention at the end of my comments that will show that you're not alone as the City Council. You are indeed part of a larger team and a larger community that can come together and help you with this situation. So far, I thank you for this for your leadership on this issue. It's obvious you are looking for solutions, and that's very gratifying to see. I realize that you have legal and financial limitations in this area, and that's a tough thing to work on. But as stated in our letter to you, we encourage you to seek solutions that will work with our strengths and values. Like I said before, teamwork is key. We're all here to help you in your efforts to find solutions. I want to run down a couple of things that seemed to be insurmountable at the time, but because of the teamwork of the City of Shelton, Mason County, and other partners, they came to fruition. The regional utilities we enjoy throughout the industrial area of the Shelton urban growth area would not have happened without great teamwork and people that stuck to it. And the City of Shelton was one of the prime movers and instigators of that. And now we have water and sewer throughout much of that area. The YMCA and the leadership that the city has taken on that, and the community coming along as part of that as well is important. Some of us remember when there was nothing north of, what was it, K Street? It was basically part of the old Olympic Highway North. Now we have Olympic Highway North, Wallace-Nealon Boulevard, and a thriving Mountain View community. The Timberland Regional Library Project, bringing together people as a team. And most recently, and kudos to Council Member McDowell, the Lincoln Court. I like that name, by the way. The city and civic clubs coming together. So in our letter, we talk about concerns that we have about homelessness and its effects on economic development, and some things that we suggest we could come together and work on moving forward. As I mentioned before, I think the important thing is to realize that we're not alone. We can work as a team, governmental agencies and non-governmental agencies, to help solve the problem or at least ameliorate it. So I thank you for your time tonight. I thank you for your attention to our letter, and I'm hoping we can find some solutions to the problems we all face. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Joel.
you.
Okay, we'll start our first general comment period. This period of comment for things that are not on the agenda. If you have a comment for an agenda item, you can comment on those as we discuss those. The comment period is limited to three minutes. Anyone who hasn't signed a card can bring it up now. Donna, do you have anybody for general?
I don't have anyone for general
Okay.
comment.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move to accept the consent agenda as read, published. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to our business agenda. This evening, do we have anybody signed up for any of the business agenda?
No, I don't, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
So first up on the business agenda tonight is Community Development, Mark Ziegler. He has information about surplus city vehicles.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Community Development Department has a request to surplus 2 vehicles that are of no longer useful life to the department. One is a 1997 F-150 that was within the Parks Department, and a 1995 Chevy S10 that was in the Community Development Department, primarily used for building and planning. Both of these assets per Kelly Blue Book are over $1,000, and per city policy 300-20 requires council action to declare these surplus. I have reached out to other departments to see if they have any interest in those, and amazingly enough, nobody was interested in these fine vehicles. So I'm asking council's blessing to place this on the action agenda for, October, I was gonna say April, October 15th, and we will, staff will move forward with disposing of these assets at that time.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yes, questions for Mark?
So in the meantime, if someone comes forward and would like one of those, will you sell one to them, or?
From the general public?
Yes,
Not until we have action from the council, and then we set
Okay.
up a bid process. So
Okay.
There's an open, public bid process.
oh, okay.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
Have these vehicles been replaced?
They have been replaced. One vehicle was purchased for the Parks Department through the SMPD. The other was a purchase for the Building Department, Ford Escape, earlier this year.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Okay, Donna, can I have the first reading of Resolution 11510919?
Resolution number 1151-0919, a resolution of the Council of the City of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the surplus of city assets.
Okay, consensus to move it to the action agenda for next meeting, all right? So, okay, so we'll move on to the action agenda for tonight. Are there any comments on the items tonight?
Yes, I do have one comment for the first item.
Okay. All right, our first item is Community Development, Mark Ziegler has information about the interlocal agreement with Mason County regarding affordable housing.
Thank you again, Mayor, council members. To follow up on the brief 2 weeks ago, presenting to you a revised interlocal agreement with Mason County for the disbursement of funds available through House Bill 1406. This is a bill that allowed for the use of sales and use tax to be dispersed locally for affordable housing purposes and homeless services. We currently have the ILA with Mason County to provide similar services, and this would just piggyback on that ILA to include House Bill 1406 funds, which is estimated to be about $18,000 a year. Those funds per the ILA would need to be spent within the city of Shelton, and the advisory committee, which is, has a representative for the city council, council member Anisco, would make recommendations for the expense of those funds.
Okay. Okay, Donna, would you like to call public?
I have Crazy Love Ministries.
No comment at this time.
Okay, this,
Can we change that to speak on G, just the general public comment?
yeah, I think that, yeah. Right, you're welcome. All right, so do we have any questions of Mark from the council? Okay. Seeing none, we have, can we have a motion?
I move to authorize the city manager to sign the interlocal agreement with Mason County for affordable housing and homeless services.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the city manager to sign the interlocal agreement with Mason County for affordable housing and homeless services. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, the last action agenda item, item 2 was, we're postponing, is on the SCADA services contract, amendment number 2, Public Works Director Craig Gregory.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the need to increase the limits for parametrics for SCADA services after our recent emergency fix that we went through here just not too long ago. And along with that, increasing also or lengthening the time frame of that agreement to expire at the end of 2020. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, questions for Craig this evening? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the amendments to the agreement with parametrics by authorizing the mayor to sign amendment number 2 of the SCADA Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Services Contract. I like saying that, I'm sorry.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amendments to the agreement with parametrics by authorizing me to sign amendment number 2 of the SCADA services contract. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, so now we're in our second general comment period. 3-minute limit. When you come up, please identify yourself and whether you live in the city of Shelton.
Crazy Love Ministries.
My name is Wendy Sessoms. I live outside of city limits in Mason County. It's an honor to address each of you on behalf of Mason County's homeless. I know that that's been a repeated topic, especially frequently. I'm the executive director of Crazy Love Ministries. Crazy Love is a street ministry that's been doing outreach in downtown Shelton since May of 2017 for our homeless. We take food, clothing, and toiletries out to those in need directly on the streets. We've created what's now become known as the Shelton Street Feed, where we offer the community a home-cooked dinner on Friday nights. We also provide Monday breakfast at the Shelton Laundromat, where people can get a free load of laundry done. But what we really offer is far greater than these fleeting supplies and needs. We offer love, encouragement, and support to those that we've been blessed to get to know while we've been out on the streets. We are witnessing it's having great impact. We know people who are now experiencing sobriety, employment, and even a couple who are transitioning into various forms of housing. I'm confident that if we had the opportunity to spend more time with our homeless, even greater transformation could be attainable. We are here to be about the people, not about providing another service. We're here to continue to help with our homeless. What does Shelton not currently have? A warming center, also known as a day-use facility for its homeless, or enough housing for its homeless. Crazy Love Ministries is asking the city of Shelton to please consider a large parcel of land on a direct bus line that it can donate for practically free. Also with enough space to expand for a housing program for Mason County's homeless. Crazy Love Ministries, along with its associates, are a passionate, driven group
of individuals full of wisdom, knowledge, and the skill set to see these programs fully through from the onset to completion. I feel it's hugely important that the city take the first initiative in going to an extreme to demonstrate that our homeless matter. We need property. I feel strongly that local churches, businesses, and patrons will follow suit and that this can become a big Shelton community project, as was stated before. You guys have help. Everybody is here to help. I've met with Mark. I've sent him follow-up emails over the last 2 weeks, continuing to share our vision with him. As soon as a parcel of property can be identified as being a possibility, we are ready to submit a formal proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you. I don't have any more, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Don.
You're welcome.
Okay, we'll move on to Jeff.
Anybody else anybody else in the audience would like to speak?
Okay, anybody would, at this point, Donna has no card, anybody else? Okay, thank you, seeing none, we'll move on to the city manager's report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of council, members of the public. Couple things I wanted to mention tonight. First, on October 30th is our next Spotlight Shelton event. We will be holding that right here in the Civic Center, out in the big room. And we have a number of things to talk about, successes over the past year and future successes through 2020. That program will start at 6 p.m. and we'll be advertising that a little bit more heavily as the date approaches. Next, the latest issue of the Shelton Stream is going out in utility bills. A couple of good bits of information in there. I'll just highlight mine real quick. The implementation of our OpenGov software that enhances transparency for those within our community and hopefully increases public engagement with the council so we can hear what the interests of our citizens are. And lastly, I believe tonight or this afternoon, all of our road striping is done. So be ready for winter and have nice bright lines for people when it's dark at 4 o'clock, which I'm sure we're all looking forward to. And lastly, I wanted to talk a little bit about, there was communication at council at our last council meeting on September 17th, I believe, about an issue in our neighborhoods, and wanted to outline a few of the steps that the city has taken in the meantime in order to address that issue. One, we've closed Library Hill Trail to eliminate some of the traffic up and down that trail and onto Birch Street at the top. Secondly, we've limbed up quite a bit of the vegetation on the way up that hill so that it's easier to see up to the top and a little bit more visible. Third, we're evaluating other options, including the installation of lighting on our critical infrastructure at the top of the hill, our water tower right at the top of Birch Street. And we are interested in engaging further with the community and listening to their thoughts about the ways that we can help address some of their concerns. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Community Development Director Ziegler, talk a little bit about an event we have coming up, which we hope everybody will enjoy.
Thank you. Just wanted to announce we have a ribbon cutting, if you will, or a celebration of the library repair project on Tuesday, October 22nd at 11 a.m. at the library. That project is essentially complete with the contractor's phase of work. We have some paperwork still to finish up and clean up, but that project is essentially done. New roof, new exterior painting, soffit, fascia repairs, gutters, downspouts have all been replaced, so we've got that buttoned up for the long winter that we'll see here in Shelton and the amount of rain that we typically get. But we'd like to invite the members of the public and certainly council and our state delegation to join us on the 22nd of October at 11 a.m. just to say thank you and recognize the work that's been done there.
That's great.
Thanks for getting that done before the rainy season.
Yeah.
So any questions or comments for our city manager or for Mark?
We maybe have an update on striping's done. We've been getting lots of questions about what's happening when or how are we striping. Maybe a quick update on that.
Sure. We've got all the long line striping done, and I believe the rest of our crews are out doing crosswalks, repainting crosswalks and stop bars on the street, and hope to have that done third week of the month, about the third week of the month, and have all those items complete before the rainy season really gets started. Oh, the cold's already here. Hopefully the rain will hold off a little while longer.
Well, is that like water soluble type paint or you're using, or?
It takes about 20 minutes to dry, from what I understand. When it's relatively cold, as it warms up a little bit, it only takes about 10 minutes, so.
When it's pouring down rain, you know, like.
When it's pouring down rain, it's a lot more difficult to get it,
Yeah, I thought so.
get it to stick, yeah.
Okay. Anything else for our staff? Okay. Open for the council, new topics or things we want to discuss this evening?
Nope.
Seeing none? All right. I guess we're ready to adjourn. We will adjourn. Our next meeting is Tuesday, October 15th at 6 p.m.
We have a work session.